Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and we are joined by Adam Williams, who promotes Raising Consciousness, a cryptocurrency advocate, a voluntarist, and an avatar master, and we'll go into that shortly, but thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Josh.
Now, first of all, with pretext to my next question, I wanted to start by getting you to tell us your backstory trading derivatives, which in my opinion are incredibly risky, and how you lost millions of dollars in the bubble burst, and what led you to the free market, free monetary system principles.
Fantastic. Well, I only lost $1 million in the bubble burst, but
Still a lot.
Still a lot, yeah. I was very fortunate. Earned like $5 million in my career in the 10 years I was a trader. And yeah, the bubble bursting, how that affected me was convertible bonds just completely changed. The Federal Reserve, with their policies coming in and suppressing volatility, suppressing interest rates. Those are the two things that give convertible bonds value, is higher interest rates and higher volatility. So, and this, the entire bubble bursting from Wall Street wages, which was from 2002 to 2008, that affected me really greatly. So my impact was in 2010, 2011, actually 2009 was my best year.
Okay, well, now how do cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin change the game for our viewers? How are they fundamentally different than the heavily manipulated derivative market?
It just comes down to centralization versus decentralization. With the Federal Reserve System, it's completely centralized. You have a lot of malinvestments, all kinds of things that have come about because of quantitative easing and what the Federal Reserve has been doing, distorting real estate prices, distorting real estate, distorting bonds, distorting stocks. And with cryptocurrencies, you have decentralized systems which allow for a completely different way of organizing ourselves, a different way of interacting. Here's my address, you take my address, I'm sending this to you, you send it back to me. Atomic swaps, all the things that we have in the cryptocurrency markets, and it comes down to being built on either a Keynesian economic theory or an Austrian economic theory, which is what we are all here for.
Yeah, and you know, in 2007 we saw a lot of collateralized debt obligations, credit default swaps, mortgage-backed securities, all, you know, the crazy stuff, and we're seeing a return of that today. We are seeing that from Wells Fargo, we're seeing that from a lot of banks. I won't mention every bank because it would take me quite a while, but what do you think about the return of this and what that means for the overall market?
Yeah, what's going to happen is, you know, the banks are going to continue to do what they can do. So they're repackaging some of these things, calling them different names now. It's the same structures that they used to have before.
Rating them AAA by like the top couple.
Exactly, that if you can split up all these mortgages amongst enough people, then you can slap a AAA rating on them. The rating agencies are in bed with the banks. We saw that in the movie The Big Short. It was explained very, very well there. So, you know, when it's going to collapse and change, you know, who knows, but there's just a basic physics to it. You can only stack blocks so high before they fall down, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're seeing very similar things take place recently. Of course, fundamentals are off the table due to the level of manipulation, so it's not like we can say, on this day, this is going to happen. But it seems like, obviously, recently, what we've seen with the Dow, etc., we're seeing something very similar to what we've seen before. So do you think that this is a possible hazard in the next year or so?
I think it's possible. I just spent 4 months in New York City after being 2 years in the Netherlands. I moved in 2016. And on one side, you have an inevitable mathematical change that has to happen. But on the other side, markets are resilient, people are adjusting to this new reality. When I moved to New York in 99, 2000, rents were half of what they are now. Wages are maybe up 20-25% since then. So now there's all these different things people are doing to adjust to what's going on, so it's really impossible to say when it will happen.
Yeah, well, something I find really important that I want to go into is self-consciousness. So now, as a voluntarist, we can all hope to eventually reduce the government to zero and continue governance on a private contract level with consent from each individual. Of course, the hallmark of freedom and liberty itself is individual responsibility and self-sustainability. You're a big promoter of raising consciousness, and I suppose self-help. So how important is this to be bringing into or find ourselves with true individual liberty, freedom? How important is it to really know ourselves, be self-conscious, and could you go into that?
Yeah, it's actually a great question, really critical. For me, what I'm doing is working from the ground up. I'm working to help people one person at a time, raise individual consciousness one person at a time. If people are, there's a scale of how you're operating from being indoctrinated on one side to being a source being on the other side. Source being means that you understand your self-sovereignty and that you are the creation point of everything that you're doing. So the more people that understand that, the less people that are able to be manipulated to the extortion of taxation and other things like that. So it's just all flows together.
Yeah, I think it's a really beautiful message, considering I've often said to people, everyone wants to be loved. Every individual wants to be loved. Even if you're a big, criminal biker in jail who murdered someone, everyone wants to be loved. The problem is everyone focuses on being loved by other people rather than looking in the mirror and loving themselves. And that's such a great message to be spreading. Now, for our viewers, you are an avatar master. Now, when most of us think of avatar, we're thinking of either an avatar on a website, like a banner or something, or, the movie Avatar. Can you explain what on earth that means?
Sure. Well, the word avatar itself is actually an old Sanskrit word. It means either divine teacher or incarnate spirit. So a spirit that walks the earth. So avatar is just talking about how you are understanding who you are as a true spiritual being. The definition of spirituality that we use and like is service to others.
Well said. So I really appreciate everything you do. I really think more people should know about you. So can you promote to our audience how they can support the work you do and find more of your work?
Fantastic. So I'm available on all social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, Steemit. So it's Adam N. Williams on Facebook, at Adam N. Williams on Twitter and Instagram. And on Steemit, I'm at Rice Owl Adam. Rice like the food, owl like the bird, Adam like me.
Let's get him some more followers on Steemit. Thank you very much, Adam.
Really
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.